Well, hey guys, get excited. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my top tips for how to care for aging skin. Before I get into it though, I want to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, Sleep & Glow. Y'all know I'm a huge fan of my Sleep & Glow Omnia pillow. I've been using it for years. It's made a huge difference for me in terms of the appearance of sleep creases and morning puffiness. Plus, it's just super comfortable to sleep on, and I feel as though I get a better night's sleep using it. What exactly are sleep wrinkles? Each night when you go to sleep and your face is squished up against a pillow, that folding and creasing of your skin up against the pillow can contribute to the appearance of morning sleep wrinkles. In contrast to wrinkles that appear from expression lines that are horizontal, sleep wrinkles are vertical. And they can persist throughout the day, and when you're getting ready in the morning, they make the makeup go on unevenly. That pressure of your face squished up against the pillow, whether you're a side sleeper or stomach sleeper, also leads to a lot of morning puffiness. Sleep & Glow's patented Omnia pillow offers a solution to those sleep wrinkles and morning puffiness. Its patented shape actually cradles your head, neck, shoulder girdle, and the sides of your face. You see, the pillow has this nice concavity here, but when you roll over to the side, you can see the concavity nicely cradles the cheek, so it's almost like it's just floating on a cloud rather than squished up against a pillow. It's made of very high quality memory foam that melds to the shape of your head, neck, and shoulder girdle. Importantly, it was designed by orthopedists to really support the proper position of your neck, your head, your shoulder girdle for a good night's sleep. I have been using this pillow for several years now, and I have really appreciated a marked improvement, not only in the appearance of morning puffiness and those sleep wrinkles, but also just overall in the quality of my sleep. It's an upfront investment, but it definitely pays off dividends. They're so confident in the quality of the product that they have, as they should be. It's very good. They offer a 30-night sleep trial, so if you're not completely satisfied with the pillow, you can return it and get your money back. But if you haven't checked it out yet, now is actually a good time to snag one. If you use my code that they have given me, Dray23, you're gonna get an additional 5% off. So now's a really good time to try it out because you can save, and like I said, they have that 30-night sleep trial, so if you're not completely satisfied, you can always send it back and get your money back. But it is, like I said, it's made a huge difference for me and for my sleep, and I highly recommend this pillow. Once you get into your older years, there are a lot of changes that happen in the skin, and how you care for your skin may take on a different path. One of my #1 tips though for aging skin is to, if you haven't already, start doing regular self-skin checks. Skin cancers are very common, and they become even more common as you get into your wiser years. Starting at the age of 50, the risk of skin cancer increases, and with each year thereafter, it increases as well. Skin cancers, they take a long time to appear, and the older you get, the more likely it is that one will pop up, especially if you have a paler skin type, you've had a lot of sun exposure throughout your lifetime, a lot of unprotected sun exposure. Maybe you've already made a skin cancer, and that makes skin cancer more of a risk. Maybe you used a tanning bed, maybe you smoke, or maybe you have an underlying medical condition that weakens the immune system and makes you more vulnerable. While skin cancers are really common, the good news is that if they are found early, they can be removed in most cases, and that's it. However, if they aren't caught early, they do have the potential to spread out and require more extensive treatment. That's why self-skin exams can really be helpful in caring for aging skin. I have some videos saved in a playlist here on YouTube all about skin cancer, signs of skin cancer. I want you guys to check those out. You'll find some really high yield information in there as far as basal cell skin cancer, melanoma. You want to pay attention for anything that is new, changing, or just appears unusual. Look for growths that suddenly appear and increase in size very quickly, maybe have areas that are thickened, or have a pearly, rounded border. Also pay attention to the color. If things are turning black or become multicolored, that is a more concerning sign. Pay attention to moles or birthmarks that you've had for some time, because in some cases skin cancers can arise in those, and signs that might be occurring are all of a sudden the mole or birthmark becomes thickened, raised, discolored, suddenly asymmetric. So check out my video going into more detail on the ABCDEs of melanoma, so you can learn more about that in that video. A spot or a sore on the skin that doesn't heal within 3 weeks is concerning for a possible skin cancer. If you have what you think is a pimple on the face that never goes away, that's something you want to pay attention to. It might not be a pimple. It's unusual for a pimple to last that long, let alone in your older adult years. So that would actually be something more concerning for a possible skin cancer. Also, if you have a spot or a sore that bleeds, oozes, crusts over, you pick it off and it comes right back. How exactly do you do a self-skin exam? You only need some simple tools that I'm sure most of you have at home: bright light, a handheld mirror, a full-length mirror, a blow dryer or a comb, 2 stools or 2 chairs. You're going to want to document things that you notice on your skin exam, either by writing them down or with a photograph. Start out by examining the face very carefully in the mirror. Make sure you pay attention to your nose, your lips, around your eyes, your ears, including the fronts and backs of your ears. You might want to just take a handheld mirror so that you can get a good sense of the skin behind your ears. Then you want to make sure to inspect your scalp. Here's where a blow dryer can be helpful, depending on your hair, to help you part the hair. Just use the lowest heat setting or the cool setting to allow for a good examination of the scalp, or alternatively, you could use a comb and just part the hair and go through it, using your handheld mirror to give you some visualization. Drop a comment below. Did you even know that you can get skin cancers on your ears and in your scalp? They do in fact occur there, and fairly commonly. Next, you want to pay careful attention to your hands. Not only the palms of your hands, but also the backs of your hands. The skin there sees a lot of sun, especially the driver's side. Look at the sides of the fingers, in between the fingers and the web spaces, and all around the nails. Speaking of nails, when you do a self-skin exam, no nail polish on the fingernails or the toenails. Make sure you look under the nails as well. Then you want to move down and examine the wrists, but the front and the back of the forearm. Go ahead and stand in front of a full-length mirror and examine both the front and the back of your upper arms. And don't forget to look at the underarm area as well. Then you want to examine your torso. Pay close attention to both sides and the front of your neck, your upper chest, and your abdomen. Go ahead and lift up your breasts and examine the skin under the breasts very carefully. Take a careful look at the back of your neck, your upper back, and the backs of your shoulders. Then take that handheld mirror and move it around to examine your lower back and your buttocks, as well as the skin behind your thighs. Then you want to take a seat and prop your leg up either on a stool or another chair. Prop your leg up and carefully examine the thighs, the knees, the shins, the back of the knees, and the calves. Then move down to your ankles, the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet, in between your toes, and again your toenails. And of course, make sure and repeat the process on the other leg. Just do this once a month, document what you find, and if something new or changing arises, call your healthcare provider, bring it to their attention, and if necessary, they can refer you to a board-certified dermatologist for further evaluation. My next tip revolves around dry skin. Now, I have a lot of videos on this channel giving tips for dry skincare, but it's something that becomes even more of an issue as you get into your wiser years. The skin starts to lose its ability to retain moisture as well. Barrier function declines. Things in our skin that help retain moisture, levels of those start to decline. This is especially true starting in menopause for women, but it also affects men as well. And dry skin is more prone to irritation. It's more prone to skin infections because the barrier function is just not as robust. But there are some proactive things that you can do in your skincare routine to stay on top of dry skin. Most people bathe daily, but in elderly adults especially, that may not be necessary to bathe on a daily basis. As you get older, you make less sweat, and the skin, again, is more prone to dryness. And so it may not be necessary for you to bathe every day. That's going to be an individualized decision and depend on your lifestyle. When it comes to bathing though, keep the shower short, and of course don't use super hot water. That can lead to more water loss from the skin. Avoid using harsh soaps, bar soaps in particular. If you're somebody who has faithfully used something like Irish Spring or Ivory soap for years and years, those bar soaps can be pretty drying, especially when you get into your older years. When you get out of the bath, make sure you pat dry the skin and apply a moisturizer. This will help reduce water loss from the skin. Be really careful as you get into your older years around bathing. You are more susceptible to falling and injury, so be really careful in the bath. If you're somebody who likes to use bath oils, for example, be very cautious that you don't slip. And then, of course, when it comes to dry skin, having a humidifier in the bedroom can help out a lot. I'll point that out until the cows come home, but if you have dry skin, definitely consider putting a humidifier in the bedroom. Dry skin becomes even more of a issue as we sleep. The skin loses more water, so having some moisture in the air, especially in the drier months, can really help with dry skin. When we talk about older adults, dry skin, it really can get quite remarkable. I don't think people realize that, especially on the lower legs and the arms and the feet. Dry skin can really be a problem. Xerosis cutis is the medical term for dry skin. And again, you become more vulnerable to skin infections, foot fungus, toenail fungus. Speaking of dry skin and a tendency towards dryness, make sure you're wearing gloves when doing household chores or gardening. When you're doing these things, your hands are exposed to a lot more irritating things that can further weaken barrier function. Furthermore, as you get into your wiser years, your skin is a lot more vulnerable to bruising and tearing. So having the physical protection of the glove there can help reduce bruising, tearing, and protect the skin of your hands from any harsh chemicals or irritants that you might come across doing these things. And the backs of our hands see a lot of sun damage, of course, so wearing gloves can help protect from that as well. If you're dealing with really dry hands, check out my video on how to do moisturizing gloves with cotton gloves. Applying a petrolatum ointment under cotton gloves in the evening time can really help you get over dry, cracked hands. I have a whole video explaining how to do this and why it works, so definitely check that one out as well. Of course, you should expect this from me, but it definitely bears mention here when we're talking about getting into our older years, and that is you still got to protect your skin from the sun. There's no time like the present to start protecting your skin from the sun. Sun exposure not only contributes to the progression of skin cancers, it further weakens barrier function. And a lot of people, respond to messages about sun protection well if you frame it from this, preventing wrinkles from a cosmetic perspective. But listen, remember that this is an organ system. So of course, sunscreen is still really important to any skin surface that's going to be exposed to the sun. And sunscreen is nice as well because it's usually in a moisturizing base, whether it be a cream or a lotion. So you're already dealing with dry skin. Sunscreen can further help with that. And it also, is going to protect. But don't just rely on sunscreen alone. Make sure that you are wearing a hat, sun protective gloves. Personally, I love wearing driving gloves to protect the backs of my hands, and this is a really good approach for when you get into your older years as well, because again, you're more prone to skin tears, bruising, and you just have that extra physical protection there, plus it protects from the UV rays. And skin cancers on the backs of the hands, pre-skin cancers, they're really common. A lot of older adults end up having to go to the dermatologist frequently to have those frozen off. They take time to heal. Healing is slower in your older years, so UV protective gloves can really help. Sun protective clothing is also really helpful. Now, you don't necessarily have to have clothing that is labeled UPF. This can be helpful and reliable in terms of giving you good sun protection, but it's not essential. Depending on the weave of the fabric, certain fabrics are very good at protecting the skin from UV rays. I have a whole video, as a side note, on how to choose fabrics that will protect your skin from the sun and things that influence sun protection in fabrics. So definitely check that out. It's an older video, but the information is still relevant. Seek shade. Try and avoid spending a lot of time outdoors during peak sun exposure times, which is typically midday. Now, here's something I want to talk about that can happen at any age as an adult, but becomes more common the longer you're on this planet, and that is prominent leg veins, varicose veins, spider veins. Risk factors for these include prolonged standing or prolonged sitting. And the reason these pop up is not because your body hates you, but simply because the veins in our legs they have these little valves that help with the delivery of the blood from the lower legs back up to the heart. But the longer we're on this planet, the more pressure we put on those valves from prolonged standing or prolonged sitting, they weaken. And blood collects in the veins and they dilate and become more obvious at the skin surface. And that may sound simply like a cosmetic issue, but the skin overlying those prominent leg veins can actually become inflamed, irritated. You can get what's called stasis dermatitis. So what can you do proactively to minimize or prevent the formation of these? One of the best things that you can do to improve circulation in the lower legs is to move. Make sure that you are not sedentary for a prolonged period of time, that you are active on a daily basis. The muscles in your legs will help push that blood back up to your heart. Here's the other reason why exercise is so important: sarcopenia, meaning loss of muscle mass as we get older. And if you don't use it, you're going to lose it even more. And that can correlate with an increased risk of falls. Falls in older adults, they really are a tipping point for a cascade of things that can really negatively impact your health. Having to be in the hospital puts you at risk for hospital-acquired health issues. Falls are definitely something you want to avoid. By staying active, you're staying on top of your musculoskeletal health, you're improving circulation. That's going to improve circulation to your skin. Try and elevate your legs in the evening time, especially after you've been on your feet all day. If you are sitting for a prolonged period of time, make sure you try and get up and move around at least every 30 minutes. That can actually really help quite a bit. They also sell compression socks that can help in directing the blood flow back up to your heart. All right, and then the final tip is that when you get into your wiser years, your skin is a lot slower to heal. So you need to be more careful when it comes to moving around, that you don't bang into things. And again, protecting your skin by using fabrics can really help reduce trauma to the skin. The skin's more vulnerable to tearing, and then it's slower to heal. Say, for example, you walk past something, brush your leg or arm up against something, and you notice you get a little skin tear. Just wash it out gently with warm water, maybe a little bit of dilute soap, rinse it thoroughly, and then apply plain petrolatum, brand name Vaseline, but just plain petrolatum over the injured skin. This will help keep the wound hydrated and allow for better healing. After you put that petrolatum down, then you want to cover it with a bandage. And the bandage is going to help protect that area from UV rays, which further delay wound healing. The rate of healing is going to vary depending on the location. Very slow to heal on the lower leg, so be really proactive with any cuts that you get there. Especially if you have underlying medical problems like diabetes, you already have slower healing, you're already at greater risk for skin infections. So taking this little proactive step can really help keep you healthy. All right, you guys, so those are some tips for the care of aging skin. I hope you found this video helpful. Check out some of my other videos in the playlist all about signs of skin cancer and skin cancer awareness. We talk about basal cell carcinoma in that video, in that playlist. Signs of skin cancer, more details on self-skin exams you can find there. Lots of high yield information in that playlist. Don't forget to check out Sleep and Glow. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.